Are you wanting to get started landrace gardening? Well, today I'm going to be giving you the basics of how you can do it. Let's go. Hey y'all, welcome back to the Homestead. My name is DIRK, and if you've never been on this channel before, it's all about tips and tools so that your garden and homestead can thrive. So if you don't know what landrace gardening is, I did a video previously on this topic, and I'll put the link above for you to watch if you have no idea what it is. And to be honest, when I first heard about it, I was like, what the heck is landrace gardening? So watch that if you want to know what it is. But this video is about how to get started doing it. Just a quick disclaimer before we hop into the video. I'm not a horticulturist. I don't have a degree in it. And so I'm by no means a plant breeding expert. And so if you really wanted to dive into the topic of landracing, then go get Lofthouse's book. So I talked about a squash project that my neighbor Grant and I are going to start. And I mentioned that previously in the last video that I did. And basically what we're going to be doing is we're wanting to create a squash seed that is 100% resistant to the squash bug and pests of that nature. We don't want to be using any type of insecticides or pesticides or whatever. We want this thing to produce for us. And so basically the way that we're going to do that is we're bringing in about 10 different squash varieties that already have a good amount of genetics. And so we're getting some from Baker Creek, heirloom seeds, and we're getting multiple other landrace seeds. Actually, one of them's coming from Joseph Lofthouse himself, from his website and seed company. And so it's going to be a total of about 10 different seed varieties. And obviously we're going to plant more than one of each plant. And so we're going to be doing that in a pretty dense patch. And we haven't decided yet will we use specifically our native soil or not, but I'm going to be using mine for the most part. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay down a tarp beforehand so that I can kill off any of the grasses and weeds, just that way that those squash plants can get a head start. So essentially the way the process is going to work is we're going to get those seeds started. He's going to be growing a landrace squash patch on his property. He's about a quarter of the mile down the road. And I'm going to be doing that here as well. So we're going to have completely separate squash patches, and we're going to allow those plants to get going and begin to cross-pollinate. However, the plants that don't do well, maybe some aren't growing really well, maybe they get pest pressure really quick and they die off, we're going to cull those plants out or just remove them from the patch. And so that way we're not allowing those poor genetics from that specific plant to cross with other ones. Again, we're wanting to allow the good genes and the plants that have really strong genetics to cross with the others. We want those plants to adapt to our local microclimate. After year one, we're going to select not only for taste, but we're going to take the seeds from our best plants, and then we'll swap those seeds and we will replant essentially again, and we will continue the evolution of those seeds. So basically the way you can get started is doing something really similar, and you're essentially going to want to bring in as many genetics as possible. You want it to be super diverse. So you can do this with corn as well, but to me the best way to do that is to bring in a landrace seed that's already been landraced, and then you can also bring in some heirlooms, even some hybrids, but the goal of it is to bring in a lot of diversity so that those plants can cross. I'll put the links down below to the specific squash seeds that we are getting. However, if you're wanting to do some type of landrace patch or start to landrace seeds, I would highly encourage you to get Joseph Lofthouse's book, because it just goes really in depth, and it's just going to be tough for you to do without really getting some good knowledge on it. And so there's some other YouTube videos out there where he's on some live streams, but his book is really awesome, so I encourage you to go get it. I will keep y'all updated in the future on how this squash project goes for my neighbor and I, but I think this is the really cool aspect about landrace gardening is the community that you can build around gardening, around saving seeds, around building really vigorous plants that don't need any inputs and can provide food for your family. If you have found this video helpful and you want to continue seeing content like this, please, if you want, click the like and subscribe button, share this content with other people. Here on this channel, our goal is to provide you the best tips and tools so that you, your garden, and homestead can thrive. I look forward to seeing y'all on the next video. Happy growing.